Hey everyone, and welcome back to another great episode on the Hope and Renewal podcast. This is where faith meets real life and the hard truth is held with compassion. Again, this is your favorite host, Antonio Banks. I want to thank you for tuning in. I hope and pray that this message speaks to your heart. And if it does, that you do not keep it to yourself, but you will share it with somebody else. So I want to start off with a story like we always do. And I want to be transparent for a moment. Ever since my mom passed away, I still find myself wondering if I'm okay. And I know some of you are wondering the same thing. And people say things like this: you're strong. She'd be proud of you. Or you're doing good. Keep going. And I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. What most people don't know is that when the conversation ends, when the calls stop, when a text slow down, and when life goes back to normal for everyone else, that's when the quiet question starts. Am I really okay? Or have I just learned how to function without breaking down? See, losing my mom didn't just hurt. It changed something inside of me, just like losing my dad. And I'm sure some of you feel the same way, that it changed something inside of you. It left a space that nobody else can fill. No matter how much love they give, it made me question things I never asked before. I questioned if my purpose was worth it, if I had enough strength to make it. Was my identity, my faith, even my emotional stability? And there's days when I smile and genuinely mean it. Then there are days when the world feels a little heavier. I can't call neither one of my parents. I can't hear their voice. I can't even ask them what they think. I can't even say, Mom, Dad, I'm struggling today. And some of you are in that same boat. On those days, I still catch myself wondering, am I healing or am I just surviving? Am I moving forward or am I just moving? Am I okay or am I just used to the pain? See, grief isn't something you get over. It's something you learn to live with. And some days it whispers, other days it shouts. It constantly reminds you of who meant the most to you. So if you're listening today and you've ever asked yourself, am I okay? Even years after your loss, you're not weak, crazy, or broken. We're just human. And somebody's grieving today. You never wanted that person to leave. If nobody has told you this lately, it's not only okay not to be okay, it's normal. This episode is called It's Okay Not to Be Okay. See, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to wake up some mornings and feel the weight of the world pressing down on your chest. It's okay to feel broken, to question your worth, to wonder if things will ever change. It's okay to be depressed. That doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. It means you've cared deeply, loved deeply, and felt pain deeply. Sometimes the strongest people are the ones who admit they're not okay. It's okay to be lost. Sometimes you must lose yourself to discover who you really are. You might not see the path clearly, but that doesn't mean you're off track. It means you're being refined. Every detour, every delay, every heartbreak can lead you closer to who God is shaping you to be. It's okay to talk to someone. Don't let pride or fear convince you that silence is strength. True strength is in vulnerability, in saying, I need help, and allowing others to walk beside you. See, we were never meant to heal in isolation. We were meant to heal in connection. It's okay not to have all the answers right now. You're allowed to take time. You're allowed to rest. You're allowed to cry, to pray. You can even scream, to sit still. I get it. It's fearful to admit you're not okay. And a lot of us are scared to admit that we are not okay because we live in a world that tells us strength means silence. A world that says if you acknowledge you're broken, depressed, or lost, you're weak. What society teaches us is to smile through the pain, post the highlight reel, and pretend everything's fine. And we all know behind closed doors, the truth is many of us are barely holding on. We hide our pain because we're afraid of being labeled, fearful of being judged, terrified that once people see our scars, they'll forget our worth. So we bottle it up, hoping time will heal what silence never could. And see, healing doesn't happen in hiding, it begins with honesty. And this leads me to a story about why we should admit when we're not okay. See, according to recent data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, more than 49,000 Americans died by suicide in 2023. That means that's about 14.7 deaths for every 100,000 people. So roughly one person every 11 minutes, every 11 minutes. That means while we're at work, while we're scrolling on our phones, while we're sitting in church, someone somewhere is losing hope. And I hope and pray that they catch the Hope and Renewal podcast, because we don't lose hope, we gain it. And here's the part that hits hardest. About 5% of adults in America have seriously thought about suicide in the past year. And that's not a number, that's your coworker, your friend, your family member, and maybe even you. And we must stop assuming people are okay just because they seem okay. When we take most of the time, it ends in disappointment or surprise. Disappointment because the person we thought was fine was really falling apart. Are you surprised? Because the one we least expected to struggle was silently screaming for help. You don't have to be a fan to notice how often athletes, entertainers, and public figures reach their breaking point right in front of us. We assume that they are okay. That's the danger of assumption. We only see what's shown. We applaud the moment, but we overlook the struggle behind it. That moment wasn't just about the event, it was about life. A life taken so short by silence. Which also leads me to a couple of people we assumed were okay. Recently, there was a Dallas Cowboy player named Marshawn. He unexpectedly committed suicide. The beloved DJ and dancer Steve Twitch passed away in 2022, a man known for his infectious smile and energy on screen. Legendary country music star Naomi Judd died in 2022 as well. She spoke, that's just a small number of people, many of whom were assumed to be okay. She even openly admitted her mental illness. just before she left. And that's why this message, "It's not okay to be okay," matters so much to me. Because when we assume someone has it all together, we stop checking on them. And I know somebody listening to this today and has heard or knows someone who has tried to reach out to tell someone, "I'm not okay." And what hurts the most isn't always the pain you feel. It's the silence that follows when you finally find the courage to speak. You send that message, you make that call, you take that step, hoping someone will see you, hear you, or even care enough to pause. Instead, you're ignored, left on red, or brushed off like your pain doesn't matter. In that moment, it changes you. It teaches you to hide behind a smile. It teaches you to say, "I'm fine," even when you're breaking inside. Let me remind you of something. Your voice matters. Your pain matters. You matter. And if nobody else listening tonight, I will. And the Hope and Renew podcast will too. Because sometimes all we need is for someone to say, "I hear you, and I'm not going anywhere." And sometimes we think that being strong means never breaking. But even in the Bible, some of God's greatest warriors reached their breaking point. And the one I want to speak about today is named Elijah. And now Elijah wasn't just anybody. He was a prophet, bold, powerful, and fearless. He had just stood on Mount Carmel and called down fire from heaven. The whole nation watched as God answered his prayer and proved his power. It appeared that Elijah consistently demonstrated composure and capability. Now, right after that victory, Elijah took off and ran. He learned Queen Jezebel wanted him dead and was gripped by fear. So what he did, he left everything behind and went into the wilderness. He sat down under the tree and said these words, 1 Kings 19:4. "I've had enough, Lord. Take my life." That's heavy because a lot of us have said that. And this wasn't some lost sinner saying that. This was a man of God, a man who just witnessed a miracle. Yet now he's done. He's tired. He's worn out. He's empty. And what did God do? He didn't shame him. He didn't say, "You have little faith." He didn't say, "Get over it." No, God sent an angel. The angel didn't preach a sermon. He didn't even give Elijah a lecture. He said, "Get up and eat." And beside him was fresh bread and water. Elijah ate. Then he went back to sleep. The angel came back a second time and said, "Get up and eat, for the journey is too much for you." You see what God did there? He didn't just fix Elijah's problem. He cared for Elijah's soul. He gave him what he needed most: rest, nourishment, compassion. Sometimes that's precisely what we need too. No advice, no answers, just care. A moment to breathe. A reminder that it's okay not to be okay. And later, God spoke to Elijah again, not through fire, an earthquake, or a storm. He spoke in a gentle whisper. That whisper said, "You're not alone. I'm still here. Your story isn't over." And maybe someone listening right now needs to hear that same whisper. And maybe you've been running empty. Perhaps you said, "God, I've had enough." And if that's you listening today, God hasn't left you. He's still sending you reminders. It might be through the rest, through love, through this very message, that he hasn't finished with you yet. So remember Elijah's story. Even the strongest get tired. Even the faithful feel lost. And God's grace meets us in the wilderness, right where we fall apart. He doesn't demand perfection. He offers presence. Sometimes that's all we need to make it through the night. And I want to close with this. Maybe that someone needs to hear today that God still meets you in your wilderness. He still provides what you need when you can't take another step. And He still whispers your name, even the noise of life tries to drown them out. We live in a world that says, keep going, keep smiling, keep pretending. But God says, rest, be still, and let me carry you. So I want to ask you a question. When was the last time you checked on someone who says they were fine? Because sometimes I'm fine means I'm falling apart. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is stop assuming and start asking. So what I would like for you to do this week, and you don't have to, is be that person. Be the voice that whispers hope. Be the one who reminds someone that it's okay not to be okay, and that they're not alone in it. Until next time, remember, healing begins with honesty, and hope begins when we stop pretending. This is the Hope and Renewal podcast with your favorite host, Antonio Banks. I want to thank you for tuning in, and I want to remind you that even when you're not okay, God still is.